Good evening. Hello. I am the Netherlad, and tonight I'll be making a character with my good friend and storyteller Alvarance for his Chronicles of Darkness game called Identity Shattered. I've already played a character there, Thomas Kuiper, but he's going to be taking a little break, and so I'll be getting right into it with my friend. One moment. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Good evening.
Well, morning, but yes, good evening.
Good morning to you, indeed. My apologies.
You're fine. Well met, because for this good time zone, that just tends to be what I default to.
Well met is indeed good greeting. You've already set up a character sheet for my secondary character. Thank you very much. And I have it right here in front of me. Currently it is Netherlad 2 Electric Boogaloo. How appropriate.
Memes make people laugh, so I figured it was a good thing to do.
I agree. Yeah. So I have some ideas for a character. I'll put the music down a little bit. I have some ideas for a character, but as a storyteller with some experience with this system, where do you think we should start?
It's recommended in the books, and I tend to follow the recommendation unless you have difficulty going with it, in which case I'll try to go through other means or explaining it through other people, but concept is always a good place to start. And with concept here, what they mean is they mean a 3 to 5 word, or less if you feel more comfortable with less, idea of what starts your lines for that character.
Okay.
So, for a couple of examples, since we're doing this with other people, for a couple examples, my first Chronicles of Darkness character was a listless private eye kind of thing. I could actually, I don't want to pull it up on this window, so I'll use a different window. I know everyone kind of did different ones. What was the concept for Thomas? Because I know you had a Thomas for that one.
I can look it up. I didn't even have it written down. Oh dear. Oh, that is bad.
It's fine. I have the other game open on this one. Undercover nonconformist exorcist.
That was it. Yeah, because he was he had basically a secret identity as a Protestant exorcist in service of the Catholic Church. That was it. Yeah.
And sometimes more complicated ones like that are a fantastic way to start up for concepts. And then you have Sam, who's played by Kres was just martial artist. That was the concept.
Fair enough.
That was it.
Okay.
But yeah, so anything that's kind of just general, like general ideas to help put on the character. And if you're having difficulty with that, the next thing that I do is kind of go, okay, well, if you don't know exactly the backstory or the background of the character with the concept, what type of character would you like to play? And then we'd go into attributes and skills after that.
Okay. So what I had in mind, at least in the last week or so, is a character that is kind of like a rogue, kind of like a striker, get in, do damage, get out type of character. And I think I've mentioned this before. There is a bit of an idea that I had where this character is trying to basically speak truth to the masses. It's like, hey, this stuff is going on. You need to be aware of this. But people just consider it to be like a marketing ploy or an ARG or anything that's like, well, this is obviously fake, but it might be interesting.
Absolutely. And there's for people that might have similar things in it, there's canon reasons on why that might be.
Mm-hmm.
You have an American government-related hunter conspiracy called Task Force Valkyrie that likes to
Right.
keep things secret.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Charon group, which is kind of like the late-stage capitalism, the evil conspiracy,
Mm-hmm.
where they hunt monsters and do things to collect them and see what they can make their parts do. You have big cosmic things like the God Machine. The God Machine, for whatever reason, likes the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be angels or things doing uh, counter disinformation propaganda related stuff on it
Right.
too.
Fair enough. I'm thinking. I mentioned last week after the session, um, like specifically the term masquerade, which is a vampire uh, term as far as I can tell.
Yes, there's Vampire the Masquerade, which is a
Mm-hmm.
game by the heck was it? White Wolf, now Paradox's World of Darkness, which is different than Chronicles of Darkness due to rights and things happening circa
Uh,
2000. However, Vampire the Requiem, which is the Chronicles version of the vampire game, still uses the term masquerade and stuff like
okay.
that.
Also,
So,
hello A99 and Stomkons, good to see you. We're just starting
hello.
to set up the concept of my character, and basically, I want to be a slippery character. I want to be hard to pin down, but at least so far, be a little bit ineffectual in reaching my goals.
Okay, sure, sure.
And
Okay.
having said that, I think like one of the first encounters that I had with the supernatural
Mhm.
would be probably with a vampire, maybe, uh,
Okay.
and the ensuing like conflict there could have been something that uh, like nudged me towards either gaining my powers or whatever it is that gave me my powers. Also, we have a red ghost. I see we have a red ghost here, a fellow player in the game. So I will say, spoilers.
Um, yeah. Whether so, there's a few ways that we can go about that. It could
Mm-hmm.
be a kind of break between the vampire using their vampiric mind powers,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be a rejection of the embrace, which is a common example actually in the Deviant Handbook
Okay.
about how some people can get divergence. Embrace
Nice.
being how you are made into a vampire.
Right. Yes. That actually would be an interesting thing. Like one of the powers that I was curious about
Mhm.
um, was I think it was bioluminescence, which if it levels up to a certain point can also cause like radiation,
Yes.
such as
By
direct sunlight.
um, powers, unlike things in D&D, well, kind of like things in D&D, are
Mhm.
rated on a scale of 1 to 5, as you can tell by, well, it's not on the stream at the moment, but if you scroll down a little bit to attributes, all of the
Yes.
things look like that with dots.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Actually,
and
I'll just show the entirety of the sheet, save for the rolls that are up here.
but with it being a 1 to 5, so when I say things like bioluminescence 3, then
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be 3 dots within bioluminescence, and that actually
So,
can generate enough sunlight to hurt a vampire. Now, the thing is that how much it hurts a vampire is dependent on their humanity, which is a whole other type of thing and totally
okay.
not the game that we're playing right now. But
So it would
yeah.
kind of look like this: bioluminescence three,
Yeah.
3 dots.
But yeah, so kind of oh heck. Supernatural whistleblower might be a good thing for the concept. Just kind of like in short, sweet, and to the point.
let's put that in. Yeah, supernatural whistleblower. Like I've with the whole thing, like nobody's believing me. That is actually a scar or flaw.
It depends. Because if it's no one in general believes you, which obviously you're going to be interacting with other deviants, so they would probably believe you. But if it's no one believes you, that can be the scar lying eyes.
Right. Yes, that's the scar that I was considering. Yes.
If it's just that the populace, the baselines in this game, doesn't believe you, then that's more of a flaw or outside things. Many. Okay.
But also with that in mind, the concept could be like I'm thinking supernatural Cassandra-esque whistleblower.
Yeah. Grab precognition. Okay.
I've considered it.
Hey, it's a decent power.
It's a good variation, yes.
Threat level, character creation. All right. So, generally speaking, now we already have this just to kind of get everybody together. The first step of determining deviant stuff is to determine the threat level, or generally what everything's going to be based off of for your conspiracy standings and stuff like that.
Right.
However, we already decided that at the beginning of the game, so then we went
Yes.
to character concept, which is the next step, and now we go into selecting attributes.
Attributes, okay. So we have 9 attributes. Physical, mental, physical, and social attributes.
That's correct.
Right.
And the way that we assign points to those depends on which ones that we want to be our primary, secondary, and tertiary grouping. So, for example, we used Sam as an example. Sam's primary is physical because Sam wants to be the person to beat people up.
Right.
I think Ruby's primary was social, for example, on her base thing.
Yes.
Yes. So I think Thomas's was
intelligence and then social. Yes.
We figure out what's there. Generally speaking, and before we get too far, just because you have your primary attributes in physical doesn't necessarily mean all your skills also have to be primary that way, which we'll address further when we get to skills. But so, what do you think shapes this character more?
I'm thinking
if no one believes them, I don't know if
social would be definitely like the lowest.
Okay.
It would be very hard for this character to convince or persuade other people. I'm thinking. Just the
as heck.
Sorry?
Valid as heck.
Like the things that this character has encountered, I'm relatively certain they will not be able to interact with any baselines in any meaningful way other than to go, but yeah, this is what happened to me, and just go completely info dump on them to the point where people are like, are you okay?
Okay. So, just for posterity's sake, since you were looking at bioluminescence, would you say that they might have lit up in the middle of a crowded area to try to show off, to get people to believe them?
Maybe once or twice, but it might have given people sunburns.
I'm gonna make a note.
Might have tried to stream it in some capacity. But again, people thinking like it's computer generated or something like that.
All right, there we go. I've made my note. Okay.
I am worried now.
So you did want to have them kind of get in and get out. Did you want them to be more strength focused, or did you want them to be intelligent or mental focused?
I'm thinking, in that case, the lack of social grace is probably also because just does not have the might be intelligent, but does not have the intelligence to focus on that.
Right.
So I'm thinking more act first, ask questions later. So physical first, intelligence second, and social third.
Alrighty. So with physical being the first, you have 5 dots in addition to the dots that are already in there to put into that character sheet as you see fit.
Okay, so I'm thinking very. I've used the term slippery before, so I'm thinking high dexterity. I will put 3 extra dots in there. Also pretty strong. I don't think this character has a lot of stamina.
Okay.
Though, like mechanics-wise, stamina.
Mechanics-wise, stamina directly affects HP. Stamina may also affect things like if you're choosing to sit down at a cafe for 8 hours in research, you might need to will yourself. That might be a resolve stamina check to see how long you can do it, type of thing.
Right. In that case, I will balance out strength and stamina. And given that we've played already quite a bit with Thomas and the others, and I have a lot of experience points, I might change up some attributes or like add some later on. But starting out, dexterity high, strength and stamina, okay. Excuse me, I've just eaten.
It's all good. And then you said intelligence was next, so then it's 4 additional dots to throw.
4 additional dots. I think. So wits is. We have intelligence, wits, and resolve. I think, kind of like a higher resolve than usual. This character does want to achieve their goals, definitely.
Right.
And has definitely some manner of like focus and willpower.
Right.
And okay. I think I will go the careful way and put a dot in intelligence and a dot in wits, unless you think like there would be a better way of doing that.
Not at all. I mean, generally speaking, the first thing to kind of that I kind of use to explain to people in regards to this is not necessarily a game where succeeding is the goal.
Fair enough. And as Red Ghost said, they've seen some things. Indeed, they have. I keep saying they. I'm not entirely certain about any sort of like personal identity or stuff like that just yet. So I'm keeping it a bit vague.
But yeah, no, like in response to this, we'll get into it when we get more into variations on stuff like intelligence and wits would affect. But like resolve's definitely not a bad thing to do, especially if you don't want to gain a bunch of other aspects to it.
Yep.
But now we're going over to social.
Yes.
And that is 3 dots. So 5, 4, 3.
Surprising no one. I think I will put 2 dots in composure and 1 in presence, but none extra in manipulation.
All right. Get a lot of willpower. Nice.
That is true.
Okay.
Because that's from resistance, right?
It is from resolve and composure.
Resolve and composure, that makes sense, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that we have the attributes finished, generally speaking, real quick, just to kind of address some things since we've done some stuff with attributes. Roll20 is very nice to us, and Roll20 does a lot of the math for us. Speed is, I think it's wits and dexterity. Defense is
it's 6, so
yeah. Defense, it's wits and dexterity. It's something in that. I can actually take a look. Give me just
Fair
a
enough.
moment. Character sheet. So your health is your stamina and size, and unless you pick a merit at character generation, the average adult is size 5. So you should have 7 boxes of health there. Willpower.
Yes.
Willpower is resolve and composure.
Okay, that is a total of 6.
Defense is the lower of dexterity and wits, plus athletics, which
plus
we don't
athletics,
have.
What we don't have yet.
Yeah. Initiative is dexterity and composure, and speed is strength and dexterity plus 5. So, but luckily, as said, Roll20 does all of that for us. But it's just since we're doing character generation, I might as well adjust that real quick.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So my size is 5, my speed is 6, my defense is 2.
For now, you might get some stuff in athletics.
True. My initiative is 7.
Mm-hmm. You and Sam are gonna be speedy.
Speedy, right. Indeed.
So for skills, they are already separated in nice little things for us. Mental, physical, and social. Again.
Oh, let me hear.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Hopefully you can head back sometime, depending on how long that we're here.
Oh yeah. Take care, Stomkunst.
But so with that one, we also pick a primary, a secondary, and tertiary. They do not have to match up to your attributes. So you can have primary mental skills and tertiary physical skills if you wanted. But
I'm not sure if I would. But take care, Stomkunst. Yes. Okay. So we have mental, physical, social skills. I'm changing my posture for a bit. My model might do some crazy stuff. That's a drawback. Okay, so we have I think I will stick with physical, mental, social for that.
Okay, so then we do 11 dots into physical.
11 dots into physical. Okay, so I want to be pretty good at athletics. I think I will add 4 there.
Alright.
7 left. We'll put some in brawl.
Okay. Now, this is me gaming the system.
Okay.
Are you planning on getting into a lot of fist fights? Because if you're not planning on doing, like, you can get in there. You could also have, take a look at the lash requirements. I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but that's because part of us are familiar with it type of thing.
Fair. Because brawl is up close.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if you're going to be in your, within melee range, it'll be brawl and weaponry that you're taking a look at. And if you're looking to be at a distance, that would be athletics and firearms.
Right. Okay. I think we already have like an up close and personal fighter in Sam. And based on at least the bioluminescence that we were talking about, I'm thinking that this character will stay a little bit outside of, like, in range. So I would look more towards firearms, correct?
You can do athletics. You get to choose. So you don't need to do firearms. Okay. And that's if you're doing with it for a lash, for example. Or if you're throwing items.
I'm thinking laser beams.
Yeah. But that's with lash, so you can put that there. Bioluminescence is going to be different if you use that specifically to hit people with radiation.
True.
Because you are going to have to focus that on them for a certain amount of time, and we can go over the radiation rules when we get to that point. But
okay. Okay. I definitely want stealth. Okay. That is something that I'm also considering as a variation, camouflage.
Sure.
So we have 4 dots in athletics, 3 in stealth so far. I think at least I will put 1 dot in survival.
Okay.
I think this character has been on the run for a bit and has some like there has to be some common sense there to stay alive. So that's 8. We have 3 to go. 11. Now, exactly what does larceny do?
So larceny is generally it's unphysical, but it's kind of representative. It's the crime stat,
The crime
or the
stat.
crime
Okay.
skill, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
It covers intrusion, lockpicking, theft, pickpocketing, criminal activities. So
Okay.
let's say, for example, since other people are watching this, that somebody wanted to make more of a criminal-related thing, but they wanted to be more of a mastermind-related criminal type of person. Putting a couple of dots in larceny would definitely help with that, because, like, what would be the best way to break into this, opposed to actively breaking into this, that would be a wits or intelligence larceny check compared to dexterity larceny.
Right, makes sense. I think this character had some run-ins with law enforcement.
Hey, Jacob has a friend in crime.
Perhaps more in the sense of activism previously.
Fair.
But yeah, I'll put two dots in there.
Yeah, one more.
I got one more left.
Now, even though we flavor it for Sam that Sam doesn't know how to drive at all, technically speaking, if you have no dots in something like drive, you do have the basic ability to follow the rules of the road.
Okay,
kind of thing.
Makes sense.
You can physically drive. It's just that in chase scenes, no.
Yeah. So I'm considering with what I'm setting up for my character so far, either this character is kind of the getaway driver for certain activities, and so put a dot in drive, or this character has some sort of fascination with weaponry, and put a dot in there.
Either or. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to have a dot in weaponry in case you can't have distance.
Fair. True. Yeah, I will put a dot in there. Driving, I don't think like we have Jacob with the snack wagon. That'll be fine. And Ruby.
And Ruby can drive too.
Ruby can drive too. A little conspicuous.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Okay, that is the 11 points. 4 in athletics, 3 in stealth, 2 in larceny, and 1 each in survival and weaponry. Neon can drive too. That is true.
Neon cheats. So you said you wanted to do mental next, so that would be 7 dots to throw between your mental skills there.
Okay. This character definitely has know-how with computers.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, we need somebody with computers, please.
Like, Jacob is very good at what was it? Kinesis? Electrokinesis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can get information and he can, like, do things to systems, but that doesn't mean that he knows how to Google food, so to speak.
Yeah, that's true. Crafts, how far does that extend in, like, the mechanics of the world?
So there's a lot of overlap, and something that some people might realize with these skills as we kind of go over some of them in more detail. There's a lot of overlap between the skills in general, which is why you'll hear, ignore Looney Tunes, which is why you'll hear some people ask when playing different things, could I make this roll instead, or does this make sense for this roll? And
Yes.
I'll say, sure, why not? Craft is more physically creating things type of stuff. So, like, Crafting can be related to sculpture, can be related to engineering, can be related to fixing an automobile or things
Okay.
along those lines. It's also your knowledge about like appraisals or to identify a counterfeit or,
Okay.
crafts is more the physical arts, whereas expression, which we'll get to when we get down into social skills perhaps, would be more oral or trying to get things out in your art. So like when you're
Right.
painting and you want to be more evocative compared to more structured, that would be expression over crafts. But if you're
Right.
trying to study something like the way that Van Gogh did his things and you want to mimic Starry Night, that's more crafts than expression.
Oh, okay. I think I will put some things in crafts as well.
Absolutely. Especially if you're kind of out there in response to things, if you are involved with certain things, figuring out how to build a plan, or this isn't a suggestion, but it's the first example that popped in my head. Building a bomb, that would be a crafts check.
I was more thinking like getting some merits for that maybe as well, and having like the availability of a maker lab, like a 3D printer or something like that, make drones or something like very rudimentary, but things that make servos that can open doors after installing it and just on a push of a button.
All right.
Something like that. So it was it 7 or was it 9 dots?
It's 7.
7 dots. Okay, sorry about that. 2 remaining. I think with the background that we're currently building, at least 1 dot in politics.
Okay.
And probably, yeah, I also will go for 1 in academics.
Cool. All right.
This one has read some theory.
Hey, it happens. It works, man.
True.
Okay.
So that's 7 in mental.
Yeah. Which leaves 4 for social.
4 for social. Okay. I think streetwise would be one thing that would be useful here, and I think I'll go for 2 dots here.
Okay.
And I will go for 1 dot in subterfuge.
Right. Makes sense. Now, subterfuge isn't just your ability to lie. Like, if you do end up grabbing lying eyes or something like that, something like persuasion or other things might be your ability to read into people. Not just your ability to do that thing.
Right. I'm also thinking with like subterfuge, even if I have lying eyes, subterfuge would allow me to make sure that even though people wouldn't believe me exactly if I am telling a lie, they wouldn't exactly know where I was hinting at that I was trying to conceal.
Absolutely.
And then 1 point in intimidation, I think.
All right.
Because the other ones, I'm not entirely certain where animal ken would get into play for it.
I am so used to just doing simple checks. Technically, animal ken is very useful for the manticores.
That makes sense. There's a lot of them. I do feel a little bit sad that Donald is leaving because he's going to take Scruff with him.
Oh yeah. You get a pet carry for Scruff that just looks at you funny.
It's like that's not gonna hold me. But yeah, I think Scruff was the best part of the character.
I liked a lot of things about Thomas. Like I did like a lot, like the fact that he was different, that he was not necessarily, like, he went against the grain,
Mm-hmm.
say confrontational or anything. And a
Also,
lot of the
sorry, Red Ghost.
things, a lot of the things that happened with it is just that sometimes it just doesn't end up working out. And
That's
there are
true.
other ways to sit there and be against the grain in response
Mm-hmm.
to the characters. So,
That's definitely true.
no, Thomas was fantastic. Thomas was a good character. Thomas is a good character. He might come back.
He might come back, true. But it is one of the characters that I've... Thomas and one other character that I've made previously is I've started to notice that I had trouble playing them.
Mm-hmm.
The other character was a D&D character that basically I went for the character aspect of he had his whole family murdered because of like unrelated stuff and just sulked, and that wasn't great.
Right. That makes sense.
And just like it was a really good like character build mechanically. It's just playing that character made me feel not great.
Ah. That's fair. All right.
So with Thomas, I started to feel like I'm actually a counselor here, but I have nothing to do. This is not great. I should do something else.
Understandable. Understandable. All right. So, now that we have our skills done, we get to pick our specializations.
Yay!
So you get 3 of them at character generation,
Right.
and specializations are sometimes they're hard for people to kind of get. It is something that's a bit more specific than a skill, but still general enough to be kind of thrown out more often than not. They are related to a skill. You cannot have a specialization in a skill that you are untrained in.
Right.
But yeah, you just have 3 things, and what they do is they give you a 1 dice bonus.
Okay. I think I want one in crafts.
Okay.
And then I was thinking like robotics, like drones and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Just give me a 3D printer and I'll be able to like solder in some mechanics and some servos, and I can control it via radio.
I mean, 3D printer might be your preferred way of doing it, but with a craft skill like that and the specialization, you could probably throw something together if you have the right things.
Mm-hmm. So crafts robotics. I also am thinking for athletics, something either like gymnastics or would you consider parkour to be under gymnastics?
There's a merit for parkour, but sure.
Ah, okay.
What does Sam have? I know Sam's got some stuff with that, because I think Sam has defensive, blocking. So Sam gets bonuses to it. It also has athletics, acrobatics. So yeah, either of those would work.
Okay, so athletics. Athletics.
Make an athletics or acrobatics check.
I have a higher dexterity, so I'll do an acrobatics check. I say specifically gymnastics because I don't want this character to just be able to get someplace quickly. I want this character to be able to, like, hang out on a ceiling.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, I bumped my mouse and then I accidentally hit the back button on the thing and got rid of my mod view.
Oh no!
But I'm back.
Oh well, welcome back. Also, Red Ghost, it is so hard to say goodbye. I still have to figure out how to do that with Thomas.
I've got something that might help.
Okay.
I kind of am going to start on that because I know that people wanted Thomas to be able to say goodbye.
That's fair, yeah.
Okay. And one more skill specialty.
One more skill specialty. I
You
think.
can double up on certain things. So, like, if you wanted more athletics bonuses, you could go ahead and put another specialty in athletics. Um, Larceny or stealth might be useful for stuff like that.
Hmm.
Uh, Crafts or a computer-related one.
Maybe would this be a larceny escape artist?
I think that would work. Let me double check some things. Physical skills.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sleight of hand would be kind of general, or security systems, depending on what you wanted to do. Safe. If I had to pick one of those, though, I would go sleight of hand because of Jacob.
Why?
Oh, yeah, because Jacob would just be like, yeah, no, that security system's off now.
Oh, yes, makes sense. Yeah, it would be a sleight of hand. Basically, this character does not specifically. He goes around to like rob places, but does want to allow themselves access.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
And that might include lifting a card key or some other means of entrance. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So we have all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to this is normally where we would put in the what's it called? The deviant template.
Okay.
So this is where we address the divergence and stuff like that.
Right.
So we pick the origins.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the
Okay.
way that you were explaining it is it sounded more like this was an accident.
Yes, that is kind of what I'm thinking about. Either accident or self, like a thing that that I've done to myself.
Would you want to do it to yourself? Because the difference being is that I can't. You could do kind of like a self-made accident-related things. The first thing that pops in my mind is Barry Allen as the Flash.
Right.
Probably could be debatable as a self-made accidental until you introduce Professor Zoom and stuff like that.
that's the thing.
But we're not addressing that at the moment.
No, fair enough.
So it's just that depending on the type of concept that you wanted, if you wanted accidental, that would put that on there. Self-made, if you intended to do something like that, that would be closer to elect or volunteer, perhaps. Which definitely can go easier with self-made, because self-made is what's called a form. And what forms are is they sometimes give you some bonuses, they sometimes give you some detriments depending on what it is. Like
Okay.
you have the symbiote form or the symbiote form, which is what Neon is.
Right.
And Neon either helps Jacob make a check or makes it harder for Jacob to make a check. So sometimes Jacob gets bonuses, sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
At the same time as that, you also have the amalgam form, which is you get less skill dots, so we would remove some of your skill dots, but you get the opportunity to put up to 6 skill dots anywhere for a scene once per chapter.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Self-made is more something that affects your touchstones, because normally you start with so many touchstones in regards to it.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to do that for the sake of things, we can, and we can just do this for mechanics, because I'm definitely open to, sure, we'll just throw this on there.
I'm thinking, like being this character would have had some sort of leaning towards, I'm thinking like left wing politics, and and maybe like fallen in with like a bit of the wrong crowd, people preying on others within that, where they've encountered this first like touch of the supernatural, maybe like a vampire or something like that. Now, I'm not entirely certain whether or not that is going to be the way eco-activist or eco-terrorist. I'm thinking that in the environment that this character had gotten themselves into, it would have been hard to see that line. Alvarance, I'm not entirely certain whether or not it should be a thing where this like embrace didn't go well and that is what caused the powers to manifest, or if this character escaped being embraced and started to like tinker around with maybe some biohacking that they've found on the net. What do you think would be interesting, useful, easiest?
So, what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead a little bit to kind of explain some things. Depending on your origin, depends on what... because you get a scar-free point of variations. Mm-hmm. It's going to depend on what one of those that you get and what your extra touchstone is, so to speak.
Right.
If you want this character to not understand the entirety of their actions, I think a self-made accidental might be okay. Because what accidentals get is they can put their scar-free dot anywhere.
Right.
They're not limited by some of the other ones with overt or subtle. They can put their extra dot of conviction or loyalty anywhere. And unlike the other ones, they get a dot of medium instability, which we've talked about beforehand on why that is good. The medium instability could also be representative of an obsessive behavior during or shortly after the divergence.
Yeah. This character definitely has something as that.
So I am more towards accidental.
Okay.
But there are other ways that it could happen. Like, for example, maybe he didn't deny the fact that the vampire was there and he wanted to sit there and change himself in response to it. And so he worked on it and tried to figure it out, and it was a freak accident like Barry Allen turning into the Flash. Or, you know, he didn't expect all of the something like Bruce Banner turning into the Incredible Hulk. That might be a better example in regards to it because of the science that might go into it.
Right.
But that's an idea just for origins. Elect would also work. That would give you overt scar-free dot and a loyalty because it's him something working on himself. He definitely isn't unwilling, or they definitely aren't unwilling, and they definitely aren't born. They were a regular person before all this went down.
Yeah. Okay. This is tricky. I don't know.
Well, we've got 3 options. We've got elect, volunteer, and accidental. You could always roll a dice if you want. Accidental does technically give you more freedom, though.
In that case, I think I will go for accidental.
Okay.
The impetus of the change was like something going wrong in that very first moment, and then maybe afterwards, like trying to cope with these changes, this character starts to go look into like biohacking to get themselves under control.
Or not even necessarily biohacking, they just decided to try to make a exceptionally strong. This is the world of darkness. Magic things just happen for no inexplicable reason. Could have just been trying to harness the power of the sun because, oh my god, vampires actually exist, and then the machine blew up.
That's also possible.
Biohacking does sound more fun, though. It's just that this is an idea for accidental related
the thing about it, like, I'm not saying the biohacking goes well. I'm
yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking like this is what this character is going to turn to, and it may as well blow up in their face, or it may not. But yeah, the machine or the treatment or whatever, it might have like blown up, figuratively speaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go with accidental.
Okay. So now we have our clade, I believe is how it is said. I think Keistrith taught me that one. Clade it's a very broad term. Unlike other lines, it doesn't limit you as, Deviant doesn't limit you as much as other lines do in the powers that you get. But you have Cephalists, which are your psychic people. You have Chimerics, which is people who are blended with people and or something else. Could be anything else.
We have a couple of those.
Coactives are people that harness energies, which sounds a lot like what you're doing there.
Put that
you
in
have
there, but yeah.
Invasive, which is intrusive replacements of their flesh by technological or occult materials. We were talking about invasives in the official Chronicles of Darkness Discord, actually, about different things for it. So sentient goo is one that I like to do. Space rocks was my exceptionally dumbed down example of things that could happen.
Oh, amazing.
And then mutants, just they are aberrant biology. It's just what it is. Anything can be a mutant through rejection of stuff.
Right.
The limitation in this is that half of your dots must be in universal and or from your clade's list of variations.
Right. That makes yeah, I remember that from the previous character creation. I will put I'll check the PDF for a bit. Hold on. We have it here. Defend Renegades. Chapter 3, correct?
What's that?
Chapter 3.
Yes. Chapter 3, character creations. The specific different clads is in Chapter 1. It kind of goes into better detail of those.
Coactives, the infused. But I'm trying to see like the variations that they have.
Yeah, those would be in Chapter 3.
Yes.
Subsection variations.
Because bioluminescence is a universal one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
As is camouflage, I believe.
But there was one that is interesting to me as well, which we have also touched on, and that is precognition.
Right. So technically speaking, and I'm not telling you to do this, if you went 5 dots in bioluminescence, you could go 5 dots in precog and still pick any clade, because over half your dots are in universal.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
The things that your clades directly affect are adaptations, which is before your variations.
Adaptations.
Yes, that would be in Chapter 3 as well. Renegades, character creation, forms, catharsis. It's below that. It's in variations in Scar subtab.
Okay.
not acclamation,
Their
adaptations.
adaptations.
Yeah. There you go. There will be some changes to this when the book officially comes out, as they've been talking about things.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone gets stubborn resolve, so generally that just means it makes it harder for something to force you to act against your interests.
Okay.
Which with vampires would make sense with their mind magic. Most of them have a means to heal yourself with like the invasive's redundancy. Some of them have a means to lower the effect of the scars around you. They don't necessarily get rid of your scars. They just make it so that way there's less mechanical complications.
Okay.
Some of them increase your magnitudes for willpower or for damage related stuff on that type of aspect. Yeah.
Okay.
That's generally something that I tend to take a look at in regards to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I do like the coactive ones. To like basically overcharge myself.
Okay, no, that's pretty good too. I believe cephalists can also do that.
Yes.
For willpower. So coactives do it for damage, cephalists do it for will.
Yes, that's true. Like I did the cephalist ones with astral travel and telekinesis. Telepathy. And I think I would go for coactive right now with maybe with Fate's Agent. To really like bolster the idea that I'm fighting against vampires, or precognition to like not so much specify vampires, but like I need to be prepared for everything.
Sure, because if vampires are real, what else is real?
Yeah, exactly.
Something else that you can take a look into, and I'm not telling you to do that right necessarily this second, depending on how many dots that you want to start throwing into this stuff, is if you do really want to be something that's aware of vampires and wants to affect vampires, immunity is very strong.
Immunity?
I'm just no longer. Yep, it is a universal variation. The first two aspects of it give you HI. They can make it so that way you are immune to certain personal tilts, which would be why that person you're like, yes, I have the ability to knock down, except this person cannot be knocked down.
Yes.
Conditioned
immunities.
And then the second dot allows you to make it so that way you can be immune to certain sources of damage, kind of thing. And then the third dot allows you to pick a category of supernatural beings, which would be ghosts, wizards, vampires, werewolves, demons, etc. kind of thing.
Interesting.
And so you would make a roll in regards to your stuff, which I think is like a scarf finesse roll or acclamation. I'm not entirely sure. You can look at the clashable stuff again later. But it allows you to just kind of go, no, that does not affect me. Or if you get 4 dots, you can just say, no, that doesn't affect me or my friends.
Yes, I've seen that, yeah. Interesting.
But that's if you want to, like, deviants are in this weird aspect of kind of being the high end of the middle of the pack when it comes to their abilities in comparison to other splats. Because at the highest end, you have demons who make physics their plaything, and you have mages who ignore physics, just to kind of do that. But you can make a highly specialized deviant that can beat the hell out of mages and demons. It's just that they are specialized specifically to do that, where demons and mages are more Swiss Army knives.
Storyteller.
Yes.
If I take immunity magnitude 3,
Mm-hmm.
could I then be immune to Red Ghost?
I mean, technically it does say ghosts,
Yeah.
so...
That's what I'm thinking.
Don't do it.
He's trying. I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
So that's just something to take a look at in regards to Clader stuff. If you're primarily doing on mostly universal anyway, and you like the coactive related adaptation, go coactive.
I think I will do that, yes.
Alright.
So I have coactive as my Clade.
Yes.
Then what is next?
Alright. Did you want to kind of do self-made? Because if that's the case, I gotta look at forms real quick.
I thought we were going for accidental.
Right, self-made is a form. So forms and origins
Okay.
are not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Forms, yeah. So there's amalgam, here's self-made. Self-made systems during character creation, self-made player may opt to begin with an alternate distribution of conviction and loyalty dots. The loyalty conviction dot granted by the transform's origin remains, which means any anyway, because you can do that.
What page are you on?
The other 90.
90, okay.
I'm reading systems.
Paragraph
there.
Oh, sorry, I'm here in systems.
So, yep, self-made systems.
Ah, yes, there we go. Okay.
All right. We haven't had to address going feral because everyone has touchstones, but generally speaking, if you get to the equivalent thereof of 0 touchstones, 0 in conviction or loyalty, which happens with wavering sometimes, then you go feral, which just means that you're very unstable at that moment. But yeah, you don't do that if you're self-made.
Right.
But yeah, so if that's what you wanted to do, rather than starting with, if you're renegade, 3 conviction and 1 loyalty in addition to your free one, you start with however many that you'd like to do.
I'm trying to. These are the things that I have to focus on and have trouble wrapping my head around. The loyalty / conviction dot granted by the transformed's origin remains.
So you are an accidental.
Yes.
Most of the other origins, like Elect, I believe, gets an extra loyalty touchstone, whereas the Unwilling gets an extra conviction touchstone. See also Jacob and Ruby. But in this particular case, you picked accidental. So yours can go into either as you so choose anyway. But if you had picked Elect, then you would still have to, you would be forced to put 1 into loyalty.
Okay. I'm thinking that there's definitely a conviction touchstone. The MFing vampire who I ran into.
Okay. And yeah. If you wanted to, you could and again, so if you're self-made, generally speaking, this just means that you can put your touchstones wherever you
Okay.
Not limited necessarily. The other aspects of that is, because it's always good to have a couple of loyalty touchstones, in which we'll kind of address if we have some time, and if not, I'll get a hold of you after some of the other stuff, or tomorrow, or something.
Right.
How
long can you go on for, by the way?
I haven't gotten any updates. is kind of sad.
Hmm.
But he also might be at work, or he might have passed out because, yeah. Robo Pirate got their got their upgrade shot today.
Ah, yes, they are fully charged for 5G now. Good.
Yes.
Excellent.
But yeah. So, if you've got the Conviction Touchstone subtle out there, I will be more than happy to sit there and throw that in there, because I do have stuff for vampires set up that you guys just haven't interacted with yet.
I figured, because we were kind of flirting with vampire for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Flirting with vampire, with Geist, with werewolves.
I
think I might open stuff to a cross-splat stuff, depending.
A lot of stuff has happened.
But yeah, so if we've got that, we'll address touchstones and stuff later, because really you have one assigned, and that's the minimum that you need at this point.
Okay then.
You can do your variations and scars now, if you so wish.
I do like the bioluminescence. And you said I need 3 dots for, like...
Makes sunlight.
Sunlight, yeah. The UV gun. Is that?
I believe if you wanted to use it for other things, you need 4 dots.
Let's see. Bioluminescence at... intensity 4 ionizing radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to read that to you real quick, because there's a bunch of things going on to it. Radiation is one of the many sources of harm.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take a look at it, it is on page 206.
206.
There's a chart on there. So, deviants can find themselves within proximity to a source of ionizing radiation or more otherworldly energies. Some unfortunate remade are radiation sources themselves, which would be this individual. The storyteller assigns an intensity value of 1, which is X-rays, to 5, which would be ground zero in a nuclear explosion. So, if you wanted to, you could just generate intensity 4, because that's what that says. Or in action scenes, that would be intensity 5.
Okay.
So if you're using it to fight. Each intensity notes an interval of time. After a number of intervals equal to stamina, a character exposed to radiation suffers bashing damage equal to intensity every interval. So, for example, if this is there, after 4 minutes, taking a look at your character, I believe you have stamina of 2. I would not say that this would affect you necessarily, but after 2 minutes, you would start taking bashing damage.
Okay.
Every minute. Kind of thing.
Okay.
5 turns, that's the 3 seconds. I believe it gets really, really quick after a little bit. Healing in repeated doses. You cannot heal radiation while exposed to radiation, and then if you leave and return within the same story track's intervals as though they had not left.
Right.
So, the thing with that is this says, and I don't know if that's necessarily something that's intended or not, which it might change in the thing, the same story, which sounds like the Chronicle. So, for example, if you guys decided to go... So, since you're a source of ionizing radiation, you guys get into a fight, and then 3 sessions later, you get into another fight, and you decide to be a source of ionizing radiation again. They start taking damage.
Oh, that is scary.
It can be scary. It can also be very useful. For example, as we've talked a little bit beforehand, Sam has rapid healing. So if you guys are if you can focus it in a beam, you don't have to worry so much about Sam getting in the way of it. Sam can heal it pretty quickly. But
and would this also be able to be healed by Ruby?
Yes, because this is not a source from a scar. The way that I am handling it is that if you get damage from a scar, your variations and adaptations do not work on it. Neither do external sources of healing.
Okay.
But that's if you wanted to do bioluminescence 4 or 5 of the aura.
I will go back to the... my mouse is acting up. Going to see... I think I would want to put it as an aura effect.
Okay.
So that would be +1 magnitude.
Yes. So technically speaking, you could have bioluminescence 4, which is bioluminescence 3 plus the magnitude.
Aura, yes.
This is tiered and toggled. Okay. I'll have to remember that. So, for example, tiered just means that if you wanted to, you could just point your fingers and use it as a flashlight instead of making your entire body look like a flashlight or bring the entire blinding intensity of the sun.
I'm curious to go for magnitude 4 +1.
Sure.
Because I think in trying to harness the power of the sun, this character has gone too far.
Okay. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll just go for 5. How many dots do I have there again?
You start with 10 plus your free dot, and then we'll address something after you've decided your stars and variations.
Right. So
you have 5 more dots to play with.
My mouse is not working as intended. Okay. It does do that sometimes. I want to go look at precognition.
Okay.
We have it here. Deviant sees glimpses of the future that allows them to change the course of events. Whenever the remade rolls a chance die, it is instead treated as a single die. That is interesting. That just negates the chance die.
Yes. So you get your regular amount of successes.
Okay. Interesting. At magnitude 2, the broken may peer into the likely futures of a target. I ask one question about the target. At magnitude 3, when the broken would fail on action, you may choose to take a different action instead. Okay. That sounds very cool to me.
Sounds pretty strong, but
yeah,
a lot of these tend to get pretty strong.
True. That is a thing for variations.
Oh wow, I was reading magnitude 4 bifurcation.
Yes. Force at targets.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So that could be me, or it could be your buddies.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that is very strong.
Even prophecy is pretty good.
Yeah. Hurt everyone. Don't say that, Red Ghost.
Oh no, I just know stuff that I've been working on with Red Ghost, and you could just be like, yeah, no, you don't take that action, actually.
Ooh. That is dangerous.
It is dangerous.
That is very
I
dangerous.
trust you not to break it. I'm trusting you enough for this one. This one is not as broken as Blessing, which is, yeah, no, all of that didn't happen.
We have one with Blessing, don't we?
We have a Manticore with Blessing.
Yes, we do.
I need a Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, good old Pendleton. let's see. I'm trying to kind of like think of a fluff reason why precognition would be part of the power set.
So I watched this movie, and it had Ben. It had Batfleck in it. I think it's Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and what he did was he was a reverse engineer, and it took place in the not too distant future where they would like erase people's memories after a lot of that stuff happened. So he would reverse engineer and then make something better based on that technology.
Okay.
Now you're trying to harness the power of the sun. The sun has a massive gravitational field. In this movie, what he did was he built a machine that viewed things kind of that it was related to the distortion of gravity, in which that it kind of went around and kind of showed you events in the future
Okay.
that would happen before too long, type of thing. And so people were kind of using that and making it kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like
Right.
someone, to be a bit topical because it's the only one that I remember, unfortunately, there was a time where there was a big infectious disease, and so what they did was they rounded, instead of having everyone isolate on their own, they rounded everyone up and kept them in a certain area. But one person had the disease in that area, which made that thing come true, because now they're infecting everyone else in this condensed space. So he had to go destroy it. But it was related to viewing things past the bend of gravity, or some weird pseudo science fiction thing.
Okay.
It's really neat, but it is a way to flavor it to work.
Fair. So I'm thinking more bifurcation than prophecy if I were to go magnitude 4.
Sure.
And then I would probably use the free one on this. Scar free one on dot 4.
Okay, so you are so you would need a 3 dot or higher scar for this one.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So if you want to do 4, that's fine. And then just if you would put in parentheses there, so that way we know bifurcation.
Oh, and for bioluminescence, I will also add aura.
Yay. Excellent.
And then, I believe, I have 2 dots left.
Correct.
And for that, I would want to go... boneless. No, I would like to go camouflage. I would not want to be boneless chicken.
Alright, so since we didn't grab a lash, did you still want to... Did you maybe want to put something in... Well, no, you have weaponry, so... You have a dot in weaponry.
Can I use weaponry for, like, a... like, throwing lasers? Is that a thing, or not?
If you wanted to do something like throwing lasers, that would be a lash.
That would be a lash, okay.
And you can use weaponry for that, but why would you do that when you could just have athletics?
Sorry, what I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, why would you grab weaponry if you could just do it with athletics from a distance?
That is true.
But if you want camouflage now, you have experience points, so we can address some of this.
In that case, I might want to go bioluminescence 4.
Okay.
So 3 plus 1.
Okay.
Then place 2 dots in camouflage so that I can become invisible.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to switch over a bit and make sure that my mouse works as intended.
It's fine.
Okay, that seems to be all right. There we go. It did wipe my chat, but okay. Camouflage 2 and then lash 1.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and set up some stuff for lash real quick. You want to use athletics. It's going to be a distant lash.
Yes.
So, I'm just going to write this on a piece of paper, so that way, if need be, I can fill it out later. Normally, I kind of fill this in one of the extra boxes on page 3, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Mother lad
I'll
to
put the lash things here.
Mhm. Okay. So we
Go
have
add 1. I will choose athletics, naturally.
and you wanted this to be at a distance.
Yes.
So that would be
Dexterity
range.
plus athletics.
Yep. Dexterity, athletics minus defense. So Dex.
Minus defense. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Now, did you want this to be bruising, cutting, or gentle? You want to do a little bit of damage, a lot of bit of damage, or no damage?
I think cutting.
And this is a 1-dot lash, right?
A 1-dot lash.
Okay. We have that. Lashes must inflict at least 1 point of lethal damage, 1 point of damage. Okay, cool. So now you get to pick one of the regular abilities: blasting, caustic, channel, etc. Hold on.
Okay.
Bioluminescence. You have
Yes.
bioluminescence in precog, right?
Yes.
Those have directed effects.
What does that mean?
Let me double check. I was looking at channel. Precognition, reflexive tiered toggle, universal bioluminescence directed. So what you could do is hit them with a laser and then have them be affected by your well, if you did magnitude 4 without the aura for now, or the sunlight thing, is you could turn them into a light if you wanted to. Or blind them. Like, you could severely blind them with channel on your lash, for example.
Okay.
Scroll back down to lash.
There's a lot here for lash, yeah.
Dice pool is Scar Finesse and Acclamation plus Magnitude. No, you don't want that. Deadly does extra damage. Deafening. I think you'd be more blinding because you're flavored as flavors.
Definitely more like that.
Disabling. Reduce the penalty by 1. Increase the damage by score. Okay, that's fine. Envenomed. Forceful. Grappling. You're not melee. Immolating. You could turn somebody on fire with your laser.
That seems like a thing a laser would do.
Obscuring is moderate blinded. Which, I'm just saying, just channel, if that's going to be your case, because then you'll get severe and you could do this with something else.
But I can only, like, choose one of
For now,
these
yes.
options. Okay. I think it'll have to be immolating.
Okay. Alrighty, so I have my notes down for that, so I can write that down later. But yeah, so they catch fire. Man, that's really good for Ruby. You could just sit there and do that, and then Ruby goes, "Oh, okay, I make people go blind now. If you don't yourself." Okay. So that is all of your things there. If you wanted to, now we can go into scars.
Yes. And let's go there. I was looking at persistent scars because that was something that Thomas had just didn't have at all.
The good thing about persistent scars is it makes it so that you don't have to do scar finesse rolls.
Yes.
However, not doing Scar finesse rolls makes it more difficult for you to have heal instability, minor instability
Right.
specifically. Um, and a lot of persistent ones also don't have Scar resistance rolls, which makes it harder to gain instability if that's something that you're interested in.
Again,
Yes.
could you explain the benefits of instability?
Instability is kind of the trait tracker in Deviant compared to some of the other ones, like Vampire has humanity, werewolves
Mm-hmm.
have primal urge, etc.
Right.
Instability doesn't start getting benefits until you reach medium instability. If you're at um, negative instability, what you have is, or if you have minor instability, it just puts you down to, it makes it harder for you to succeed your Scar resistance rolls.
Okay.
In the last 5 boxes of your available instability check, which is determined by acclamation, which is a different thing,
Mm-hmm.
you get a -1 roll for each dot of minor instability that you have
Okay.
in the 5 rightmost boxes of your available ones, which is determined by your stability and acclamation. When you start gaining medium instability in those 5 right boxes, you get to increase the magnitude of one of your scars by 1, which increases the detrimental effects that they have, but also increases each entangled variation by 1. So, for example, if you had a 5-dot scar
Mm-hmm.
and you put precognition and bioluminescence on there, and then you bumped up that one with a medium instability, you get bioluminescence 5 and precog 5
Ooh,
kind of thing.
that's interesting.
Mhm. Now, I'm not going to recommend doing that because your free dot's in one of those. So
That's true.
that's something to think about, though.
Okay, yeah.
When you gain, also the -1 effect still applies as long as it's in one of those last 5 boxes. And it's cumulative as well. So those that -5, that -1 in the last 5 boxes, it's -1 for each one you have in those last 5 boxes.
Okay.
When you gain a dot of major instability, you
Mm-hmm.
gain a temporary new scar. Your scar magnitude of one of your existing scars goes up by 1, and all of the other stuff with it. These are
Okay.
temporary changes until you decide to make them permanent when they are healed.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing.
Hmm.
So in some cases, it's nice to have more instability, but with the level that you guys are at now, a lot of the things that I've been hearing from some of the other players is I'm happy with the abilities that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not matter to you as much.
Right. Um, I'm also currently looking at Lying Eyes, which we've been talking about. Um, and I'm thinking this would not be like I'm not going to go for a very high magnitude scar for this. But I do like the effect it has on magnitude 2, the notoriety condition,
Okay.
as just this probably overactive imagination.
Mhm.
Um, like from like in the scene that I'm from, and the experiences that I've had, this would probably cause people to think like, well, this person might know like the theory, but has probably mixed up some philosophy with fantasy stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind
Um, oh, a hydrate from you.
you.
In that case, I need to get something to drink.
All right.
Quick break?
I figured it's been a while. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I've been hydrating, so.
Good
Figured it
idea.
might have been
I did have something with me at the start, but it's done now, so I need to re-up that. Be right back.
Okay.
And I'm back. But maybe Alvarance is taking a break. Ah, yes. In that case. Thank you.
I have returned.
You have returned!
Mhm.
But you never left.
I did leave. I got water. I left my desk. You don't leave the house.
Hello, Michinho, you're on stream.
Netherlad says hello, you're on screen.
Hello, Netherlad. The Netherlad is a good bean.
Oh,
You should support them.
thank you.
Give them all your money.
No, not all your money. That's a bad idea.
I look at it.
Thank you.
Alright, so
We
you
were
said
talking
that you
about
were looking...
scars.
Yeah, you said that you were looking at Lying Eyes too?
Lying Eyes 2, yes.
Okay. I mean, you could do Lying Eyes too and tie that to your carapace. Or not your carapace, your camouflage.
Camouflage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's definitely possible. Do I then put that with the variation?
I tend to keep them separate.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll type in like lying eye, like either in the variation, I'll just put what it's tied to, like lying eyes for camouflagey, and then put lying eyes to measure how many dots it is below.
Okay.
Because you might upgrade the magnitude of it and then decide, no, I don't want to actually have more camouflage. I want something different.
Makes sense. So camouflage is based is tied to lying eyes.
It is
That's
social. Lying eyes is social.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that I don't think camouflage has you. It's what's it called? It's persistent, so you can just turn camouflage on and off.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it does anything based on scar power or anything like that.
Right.
So that's perfectly fine that it's tied to social with your weakest stats.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Another that I was considering, but it is mental, is
mental isn't bad.
Is have bioluminescence focused on or tied to addictive variation, but that would get me to magnitude 4.
It is mental or physical.
Mental or physical, okay. I see that, yes.
And you said bioluminescence, right?
Yes.
Are you putting your free dot in bioluminescence?
It's a universal. Can I do that as well?
Yeah, because you can put your free dot in either or bioluminescence or your other one, because it goes into any of them.
Okay.
So if you wanted to put your free dot in there, you would have to do a 4 dot scar for your
recognition.
precognition, which isn't
Yes.
necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But yeah, you could have addictive variation 3 on your bioluminescence, and just sometimes you just start glowing.
It feels good.
It does.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting way for you to mess with us. And I'll just put it addictive. And 3 dots.
Okay. So
We have precognition
uh-huh.
to tie to something. Let's see.
You do have to choose one.
It can't be on multiple, correct?
Can be. Well, like addictive variation, not necessarily. Toggled yet bioluminescence. Actually, that is perfect for bioluminescence. It will let you do repeatable. Like if you're taking a look at involuntary stimulus, there, it had the repeatable keyword, alternate persona, repeatable, stuff like that. Then you can put it on other ones, or you can have multiple variations tied to the same scar, but that will have to bump up certain things.
Right. I'm
So if you wanted to, and I'm not recommending that you do this because this would really hurt you. You could put your free dot into something like your lash, and then have magnitude 5 addictive variation for your precognition and your bioluminescence.
Ooh. That is a bit much.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, you wouldn't be able to get those stronger at all. Either.
Yeah,
so
that's
you couldn't
true.
have precog 5 or bioluminescence 5.
That might be a bit tricky.
But addictive variation does have at magnitude 3 one of two things that you need to pick.
Yes.
Whenever the variation is active, you need to be you get intoxicated or drugged, depending on action scenes or otherwise. Or
lingering.
Mm-hmm.
The deprived condition resulting from this scar is persistent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that would be more in line with the concept, the idea of the character in my head.
Okay. So that means that as long as you're okay. So I just read the deprived condition.
Okay.
Now I want to read the scar again. Okay. Earns a beat whenever they use the variation at an incandescent time. Okay. Persistent addicted condition. Okay. So whenever we start a new chapter,
Yes.
you are considered addicted. If you do not use bioluminescence at any level, you do not use bioluminescence once before the scene changes, you become deprived, and then you need to.
Okay.
Which, like, say that you're like, no, I could beat this addiction, and then you guys have a stealth section for whatever reason. You spend the first scene planning, making your plan, and then when you need to do the break-in,
I'm a walking rave party.
You walk in and it's like, I need my fix, and you become a walking rave party. You get a beat, gain attention, but you get a beat.
But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that would fit for the bioluminescence.
Alright. So then we need a 1 dot. We need a 4 dot.
Or a 5
Yeah, that's
dot.
what we need. We need a 1 dot and a 4 dot.
Or a 5 dot, correct?
Yeah, but the thing is that you can't
You can't
buy
improve them
upgrades
anymore.
to variations.
That's
So
true.
your lash would be stuck at 1.
Yeah.
Which, I
Okay.
mean, is fair if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like
So
having options open.
I was also looking at um involuntary scars,
Involuntary
but
stimulus? Or power buildup?
I was looking at involuntary stimulus, but that seems I don't think that would be wise with lash.
It can be.
Um,
Involuntary stimulus,
mhm.
technically speaking, and this is kind of a gray area of what I like to allow, but this is as an example. Involuntary stimulus could be when someone points a gun at me, your lash activates.
Okay.
Um, which isn't necessarily a bad thing until someone points a gun at you as just an intimidation tactic because they're frightened. Um,
Someone pulls a gun on me. Laser beams.
pretty much.
Oh.
But involuntary stimulus could also be varying different things. Like, I'd say a common one would be when you're in shadow. Well, yeah, when you're in shadow. Um,
Yeah, I don't want that. Just that
because,
undermines a lot of my thing.
well, the thing is that it would just activate it. It doesn't like with the exception of the first time, you can get it back under control depending on what you have there.
Right.
Um, if you wanted involuntary stimulus, okay. So you it says that you can build it up to 5 dots. That's not entirely true. I don't know if you want the 5th dot of precognition. Oh no, unpredictable. Okay, that's where it's at. There's unpredictable as well.
Yeah.
You could have moments where where your precog snaps on and there's nothing that you can necessarily do about it. You don't get to focus it. It depends on the type of situation that you're in.
Okay. That is actually that's a pretty interesting concept.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, that is interesting.
So if you wanted to get it up to 5, what you would need to do is you'd need to pick common or uncontrollable for the 4 right now, or unpredictable, and then you'd have to pick common or uncontrollable on the next one.
Yeah. See, uncontrollable is exclusive with common and rare. Where defines player may define a stimulus that is more common or rare, but doing so doesn't increase or decrease the scar's magnitude. Transformed can't activate the combined variation except involuntarily. Oh.
That will limit you on that one.
That will severely limit it, yes.
I think,
on second thought, let's not choose involuntary stimulus. 'Tis a silly place.
there was someone that had they played it into their character's claustrophobia. And when they were inside a tight space, their boneless activated.
Ooh, okay.
Which was kind of fun, just for ideas for involuntary stimulus. But if that's not something that you want to do, that is perfectly fine.
I think for precognition, and I had with bifurcation. Preparation is fun, but it takes a long time to set that up.
And yes.
Especially for a 4-dot scar.
Okay. It's not directed, is it? It doesn't have the directed keyword.
Precognition, you mean?
Balls. Yeah, it has a directed effect, but it doesn't have the directed keyword. Because I was going to suggest, what scars actually? I was going to suggest, not persistent drawback, a perilous variation.
Ooh.
But the only way to get that up to 5 would be to have it be ongoing.
Let's see.
Oh.
Cooldown might be interesting.
Cooldown could be interesting, so that way you can't necessarily abuse it.
Yeah.
You can't, though. If you take a look at the keyword, directed only.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Cooldown would be
Otherwise, depletion could also.
Depletion could work.
And that's magnitude 4. So first variation runs out of juice and deactivates at dramatic moments. Wait. Oh wait, no, it's not a cumulative thing here, I think.
No. It has to have the tag as magnitude.
Yeah. Okay, so for 4, the variation lasts a number of minutes or turns in action scenes after activation equal to the character's scar resistance before it needs recharging. Now, for precognition, what is that scar resistance roll?
So, that would be depletion, and it's not necessarily the roll, it's just to your scar resistance stat. Depletion has the keyword any, so if you wanted to, because I believe precog also has a certain amount of questions that you can ask based on scar power. So you can tie depletion to any of your stats, your mental stats, your physical stat, or your social stats.
Okay.
So if you wanted to make them buffer with some of your experience later, it would not be a bad idea for this to be tied to your physical.
Right, and I'm thinking if it is tied to physical, precognition, it doesn't so much give me a vision of what is going to happen, but I'm thinking something supercharges my brain to allow me to do some sort of calculations to think like, oh, this is what is probably going to happen. I'm going to take steps to do something else.
Absolutely, that could happen.
And as such, it is such a toll on my system that it depletes whatever it is, and I need to regain some sort of yeah. And it says
you need an energy drink. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're a warlock. Makes sense.
Or the character loses defense while recharging the variation, so it doesn't take an instant action.
Yes,
but
at magnitude 2 it takes an instant action, but we're at magnitude 4.
Yes. In that case, so with precognition, given that I am doing it as bifurcation, how long does that take?
Bifurcation. So let me take a look at precog again and read bifurcation.
I will also, let's see, can I make a...
Okay. So, the bifurcation takes place immediately.
Okay.
However, once you would use bifurcation, you cannot use it again until you have the stuff, until you have your abilities recharged if you pick depletion.
Yes.
So, for example, in this case, this is your once a day counterspell. Use it well.
Okay. But like if I say at magnitude 4 it is brief, I would then be able to use instant actions to recharge it. Is am I reading it correctly?
So, as Magnitude 3, the character loses a defense while recharging the variation, and each recharge within the same scene adds 1 additional instant action to the time it takes. So, for example, bifurcation happens, right?
Yeah.
You decide for whatever reason that it's just better to try to get people to do different things. You take your next instant action to recharge it.
Yes.
You use bifurcation again on the next action, or on your next reflexive action. Now you need to take 2 turns
Right.
to recharge it.
That makes a lot of sense, and also...
But with brief, then it only lasts a minute, or 1 minute or turn before it needs recharging. So this would be for something that takes longer, like normally, say, a lash, or if you had this type of bioluminescence instead.
Right.
Then bioluminescence, you'd only be able to shoot out the light for 1 turn instead.
Right, but given that we are talking about precognition, it's more of a sense that like I can only change short moments. But that is also kind of like in the power itself.
Right. It's a very interesting combination of a variation and scar here with that one.
Yeah. I
But
don't
yeah,
intend to min-max, but
no, this is fine.
it does come across as an interesting option.
Yeah, this isn't necessarily min-maxing. I was talking about it with Ghost the other day, and just to kind of take a little bit of break real quick. So you had Insidious on your lash, right?
Yes.
If people like to make socially awkward characters, which people tend to for various reasons, I could grab Insidious Composure. Okay. So, okay, I'm checking my posture.
Oh, yes. I also need to do that.
So
Actually, you don't have to do it, by the way.
it's a good reminder.
It is a good reminder. Thank you very much, Red Ghost.
So I picked that with Insidious.
Yeah.
I pick a ranged slash, right? And ranged slash would give me the ability to grab long burst, which adds +3 to my dice pool if I'm, and allows me to target multiple people at the cost of -1. So I have a ranged slash +3, attacks composure instead. I can get the thing that Sam has that makes it do aggravated damage. I can up its damage pool, and then so that gives me all my 5 dots on lash are done. Now I grab hyper competence, firearms, and make the skill rote, so I get to reroll my failures once. And I rolled it as just a means against with Red Ghost when we were talking about this. I took all of her characters and I one-shot them all in 1 turn.
Oops.
Yeah. That's min-maxing in this game, so don't worry about this.
I do like the idea of it, like, the more I use it in a scene, the longer it takes because I've already changed some things, the calculations that I need for that particular moment are just way harder.
Or you just have less mental faculties.
Yeah, because...
You know, like your Red Bull's running out.
Yeah. Yeah, I will go precognition, bifurcation, depletion. And that is a 4 dot scar. And it is
that's if you wanted to do brief.
Yeah.
You could also do slow charging, which means that after the fight, you can't do anything for 4 hours if you want to do precog stuff.
Ooh. But then I can only use it once in
Nope. Flash a number of minutes equal to your scar resistance before it needs recharging, so you could use it for 2 minutes.
Okay.
It's either...
I do like the idea of it just using it once and having to recharge it instead of like switching it on and being able to use it for a period.
Okay. That is perfectly applicable.
So we have 3 3 variations tied to a scar. Now the only
So we
one
just need
is the
a 1-dot
lasers.
one.
Oh, wrong. Do you have any favorites?
Favorite scars? Uh, hmm. Well, 1-dots are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because 1-dots is storyteller, I'd like a beat.
Yeah.
Involuntary stimulus is always fun, but we talked about lasers with that one already.
Yeah.
You already have addictive variation.
Mm-hmm.
Can't grab that one. Amnesia. Bane is always pretty good, because Bane allows me to throw things at you.
Where is Bane?
Bane is a persistent scar.
Persistent. Okay. And alternate persona, amnesia, Bane. Something that should be harmless is anathema to the broken. Ah, yes.
For example, one of you guys, as you found out last session, has a Bane to silver.
Right, yes. Let's
Conspicuous
see.
appearance is pretty easy. You already have 2 people with that. That's pretty nice.
And let's see. Conspicuous appearance at 1. Uncommon but forgettable. Oh, yes. I'm thinking.
There are glass cannon builds with fragility, hemophilia, and thin skin.
Ooh. I was thinking for like appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Very alternative fashion. Currently I'm kind of looking at things from like Japanese streetwear.
Okay.
With this, if I were to go for a conspicuous appearance, I might have something like mood ring hair.
Yeah. Mood ring hair,
It's
or
just
eyes, or skin.
I'm thinking
like, as long
hair.
as you stay calm.
I'm thinking hair that just for some reason. First of all, I want it so that when I use bioluminescence or my lash, my hair glows.
Sure. We can go with that.
But because of that, also like it just it kind of there's waves of like different colors going through it when I'm not focusing on having it like one color. How do you feel about that?
That is definitely a way to go. I am on board.
Okay. Conspicuous appearance 1.
And then a casual reminder on if you don't like necessarily the big 5 aspects of some of these, or even if you want to change things, there are the standard deviations on page 170 that can be tied to scars. For example, Sam's nightmares are standard deviation. It increases the magnitude. That increases the magnitude of the scar that you tie it to by various amounts, but it makes it so that way, you know, like, oh, I can actually do things, or I don't constantly have a -2 to my to my observant checks when I spend a point of willpower. Just something to take a look into. We do, but if you're happy with the scar values there for some of those ones, that's pretty nice. But like, for example, if you did want to use precognition more often, but you wanted to upgrade it to precog 5, because generally speaking, with Precog 5, you can effectively only use, or with Depletion 5, you can pretty much only use the variation once per scene.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to say, like, it gives you a scar from overusing it at some point, then now you have something to add into that instead.
Right.
So that way you can still use it as frequently as you were using it before.
And where did you say those were?
Standard deviations start on page 170.
170.
Yeah, after persistence.
There we go. Standard deviations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's like disfiguring scar, identifier, indelible mark, which can only be on involuntary scars. Nightmares, rebellious variation, relentless variation. That would be pretty neat. It's just sometimes you just can't toggle it off.
Oh no.
Short circuit, suppressible variation.
That's tough. I like the identifier part for things like bioluminescence.
Absolutely. And then like wild variation or other things like that. Okay, so since we're in character creation related stuff,
yes,
go ahead. Now this says that we're supposed to, since we finished we're deciding your things. You picked accidental, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I in trouble?
You are not in trouble. So, you have 0 acclamation at this moment in time.
Yes.
Which means that your stability is 5. And you have you have a 4 dot scar. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 to represent that on your instability.
Look, it's changed. Trouble starts when the game does. Like I'm thinking, given that I have extra experience points, because we're starting with more experience points because like the others have done so. I'm thinking that this character has gone through some more stuff in the meantime.
Oh, absolutely. And you remember how you started as a accidental?
Yes.
So you get a medium instability. So why don't you pick one of your scars to upgrade?
Why? That's not right.
That's the origin, yeah. 1 square free magnitude of any variation, 1 conviction or loyalty, and 1 medium instability. So, you could have bioluminescence 5 if you wanted. And you could pick one of the deviations for addictive. Or you could change it. Your choice. You get a free upgrade.
But I have to increase a scar, right?
You have to increase 1 scar, yes. And you could do that by grabbing a standard deviation.
Okay. In that case, I will go for identifier on bioluminescence.
Okay, so you're going to put identifier on addictive.
Yes, plus...
Okay.
Identifier.
Excellent.
And then... bloop, go for bioluminescence 5.
Yeah.
There
you go.
Oh yes, that's also a thing that needed to be done. So let's go. Welcome welcome back. I hope that the work wasn't too tricky. But welcome back.
Okay.
Let's see, bioluminescence at 5. So I can do ionizing radiation, and I can do aura.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Oh yeah, I hope so too. That wouldn't be fun. A is on call.
Yeah, accidental mutants are pretty much the quote-unquote meta if you want to build really strong characters or characters that get strong quickly.
Okay.
Because mutants allow you to stack up instability.
And
then if you have high-ranking variations, you can switch some of them out for universal variations with their adaptation, which can be neat. but he's also
Interesting.
very... Ooh, gosh. Okay. So now we would go to merits.
Right.
Now, here's where my mistake was when you guys got your 3 extra experience points.
Okay.
My mistake was supernatural start with 10 merits, not 7. 10 dots of merits, not 7.
Okay.
So what I did was I threw you guys 3 extra experience points because 1 dot of merit is 1 experience point.
That makes sense. And let me
And
open up. So I will check the original rulebook.
Yeah. So there are some that are going to be in the original rulebook that you can't grab. Like, you cannot grab supernatural merits at all. And then if there are renegade-specific ones that you want, or deviant-specific ones that you want, those start on page 96.
96.
Okay. I will also open up the blue book.
So I can't choose supernatural merits from the original rulebook.
Correct.
Okay. Interesting. So, 10 points that we can do. Just in general. Yeah. Let's see. Social merits. If I were to get something like fighting merits, would that be applicable to a lash?
Fighting finesse? Well, you're already using distance-related stuff. Generally speaking, if it is based off of the skills or the rolls that you're making, yes. So, for example, there's like a... What the heck is it? It's one that Jacob has. Marksmanship, because that uses firearms. So if you had a firearm-based lash, yes, that would apply. Okay.
And if I had a athletics-based merit, that would also work.
Correct. Like a lot of Sam's stuff works on Sam's lashes because Sam's martial arts affects their brawl. Type of thing.
Okay. Interesting.
But that's fighting merits in that one.
Yep.
Mental merits, physical merits, social merits. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something here. I'm not entirely certain if this character has burned all of their bridges with their original, like, activist cell or group.
The way that I kind of play allies, as you've kind of seen, because Thomas didn't have allies, and Jacob didn't have allies or contacts either, you can call on them. A lot of people, like, there's not a small amount of people that kind of squint at allies, contacts, and the rest of it, because it's just kind of like, generally speaking, it just makes it so you can pull on it mechanically. Depending on what it is, if you grab allies, it's going to take longer for those that don't actually have the merit to get the information that they need from their allies. But it also kind of just... It's the stuff that you're mostly getting for free anyway.
Right.
Same thing with tolerance for biology, because y'all seen some shit.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. I do like the idea of lying eyes, but having fame as a merit.
Sure. People could think that you're doing it. The issue with fame, you're well known. Because you're a deviant, especially if you've shown the deviance thing, that means that you're also attracting conspiracy attention, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for the story. It is a bad thing for your character, though.
Yeah, that is true. see.
Would you suggest Retainer Red Ghost?
Hmm?
Red Ghost has a habit of wanting a secretary for all of his characters, even if it doesn't make sense.
Fair enough.
You grab parkour.
Oh, there is parkour? That's on physical merits?
Yep, it is in physical merits. I'm just imagining, like, bite. I'm just imagining, what the heck is it? Like, Sam and this character just end up going forward, and then just, like, Jacob and Ruby just kind of look at each other and go, yeah, let's take the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do like the idea of free flow. That's 5 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's big.
It is big.
Yeah, that might be a fun one.
Sam, excuse you, I didn't say that you could stop playing.
Drives up the building. That's what Jacob would do, or is that what Neon would do?
Sam only has 1 dot. Cool. You can't become one with the building yet.
Unless it's a smart building.
No, he can't join. Like, he literally integrated technology, which is an invasive variation. You can pull things into yourself, or when it's high enough, you can just put yourself in machines.
Right. Okay. So I have Sleight of Hand as a specialization, but I can see that this is also a merit.
So generally speaking, Sleight of Hand merit. I should take a look at that and see what that does.
It's on
Couldn't
stream.
grab it anyway because it requires Larceny 3.
Yeah. But you know, maybe I use my experience points for that later on.
Sure. Your character can do that without thinking. You can take a larceny-based instant action reflexively. So, say there's a chase scene, and it is an electronic lock that Jacob can just turn off. You can just go, okay, I pick the lock. And you can do that, and then go in as a reflexive action. Because generally speaking, the way that it kind of looks is, you have your movement, you have your actions, and then you have your reflexive actions. And I think you can take as many reflexive actions as you want. I'm not entirely sure technically, but then it can kind of just get very, what's the term? Bogged down, I think is a good term.
Right.
But, so that is what Sleight of Hand would do with that. With Sleight of Hand in this case for your specialization, the difference would be if you grab the merit, you just be able to pickpocket very easily.
Right. I also like small framed.
Okay.
Having a very small character.
That will take down your size by 1, which will make you a bit more squishy.
That is true.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We do have a giant in the party.
That is... Wait, is that Fimble?
No, Jacob took the giant character generation. Which is the opposite of small framed.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, Fimble is probably bigger at his full height.
Let me take a look at giant real quick. Merits, variations, universal variations, camouflage. Yeah, while you're looking at that, what's your chapter?
I'll put in 2 dots for small framed.
I will fix the sheet for that in a second. Magnitude, that one, 2, 6, and 10. Okay, so Thimble can go from about the size of a moose to the size of an elephant.
It's big. Let's see. Base sized. Small framed. I can just put it in myself.
Yeah. Excellent. So then it would go down to size 4. There you go.
And did my health change?
This should be 6. Your health did not change.
Hmm.
So we just do that to... nope. We'll just go to 4 on that one, and then that should fix it. Yep.
Yes. No, actually, I could go base size 5, bonus health level -1, right?
The small frame will put that on there. The base size, as you see, it goes up to 7.
I see.
So base size is for doing the math for the macros.
Oh.
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
why did it not do the thing? Thanks for... Yes. Don't click. Click. You fixed it for a second there. Oh no,
Yep.
no.
I also put -1 on bonus health levels.
Oh, bonus health levels. Interesting. Okay, let's see.
Because now
That
it's
did not-
size 3. So base size is 5, small framed, then it should go to 5, but it doesn't, so I think we should add or decrease this. So it's now at 5.
Alright, there we go. Health is good. Health is 6.
Health is 6. I'm tiny!
Yeah.
I'm not shrinking. That's a superpower.
Just shuffle that.
And we have 3 dots remaining.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything based on what we've discussed that you think actually that should be a merit?
Trying to find merits in here. There it goes. Mental merits. Eidetic memory is always pretty good. Common sense is phenomenal. I just like common sense as a merit.
Common
Storyteller,
sense.
is this a good idea?
Is that in mental? Yeah. Common sense, 3 dots. Yeah.
That's something that you can do.
An A99? Yes,
investigative
that's a
stuff.
slight contrast from yesterday's character. Indeed.
Language, multilingual, patience, always good.
I don't think this character is going to be speaking any language other than English.
That is fair.
Because last character had 4.
Yeah. If I was better at international stuff, that probably would have came into handy.
No
more,
worries. That might come back. Common sense is fun.
You
But
are a tech guy, right?
yeah, kinda. And also common sense does not fit with this character.
Sure. Page 100 of Deviant.
Page 100 of Deviant.
Has a merit called Stabilizer.
Okay. Resist an item or receive a treatment that holds off instability. I'm imagining like a meditation app.
Sure, that's one way to go about it.
And now I'm thinking of Bo Burnham's inside.
With what this does is, how we were talking about the scar resistance penalties, it limits them.
Oh.
So if you have 3 dots in your stabilizer, then with where you're at now, your rolls are only at -2 for your scar resistance rolls.
Interesting.
If you grab 3 dots of that.
That is good. Yeah.
You're self-made, so you can't have living progenitor.
Nope.
Resources is good, but that's also overt. But you're also dragging attention to yourself because you post things on there, online.
Yeah.
So having some money wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, to be fair,
I think
Jacob can just make stuff.
That is true. That's definitely true. I'm thinking, like, from base character does not have resources. Might come into that with the extra experience points. But base, parkour, small framed, and stabilizer. First stuff is like small framed. I am but a little creature. I cannot help it. And stabilizer is basically like with the needs of Maslow pyramid, like, this is important to me, I need to focus on making myself more stable.
I also do have an NPC that I've recently given stabilizer to, so there is a ways to get more if you need it.
Alright.
Whatever your thing might be, or somebody to help you fix your stuff, or...
Also, stabilizer, I think I will go for 2 dots in that.
2 dots stabilizer? Okay.
It's
So
it's not a perfect thing just yet. It leaves me 1 dot.
Yep.
And let's see. I'm thinking if I can use it on athletics, firefight dot 1, shoot first.
Shoots first is usually the person shot first. Generally speaking, that would add your firearm score to your initiative.
All right.
Can
we use it on lasers?
You want to use it on lasers?
Can I?
Alright, you could use it on lasers.
Yay!
You do not have quick draw, so you can't sit there and do that. But yeah, I would let you... I'd let you have
But I always have quick draw. I have... It's on my hand.
For your lash in response to this would be like quick or reflexive or something that would double with that.
Okay. No worries.
Like Sam's Predator's Cunning would allow something like that.
Okay. But would that allow me to...
I would let you add your initiative. I would let you add 4 to your initiative, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Can I just have it as on merit as shoot first?
Yeah, sure. You can put that on there for shoot.
Shoot first. 1 dot. And that is 10 merits. 1 of 5, 2 of 2, and 1 of 1.
So normally, this is where we would start talking about shaping a cohort or conspiracy in regards to it. Well, the cohort's already shaped. However, you got 12 points of experience to spend.
Yes.
So for a brief overview, acclamation, which affects your stability and the things that you can get in instability, and makes it easier for you to activate, if necessary, your variations, that costs 5 experience. That is the most expensive thing.
Okay.
New variations cost 4 experience. So what I would let you do now is if you wanted to gain a new scar to heal that medium instability, I would let you do that. And then you could spend the 4 experience to gain a new variation and entangle it with that scar, if you so chose. Do not have to. You can do that in play instead.
I think I would do that in play.
Attributes cost 4 experience.
Right.
Skills cost 2. And specialties and merits each cost 1.
Okay. I will use 2 experience points to get resources. 2?
Alrighty. Now, resources too.
Mhm.
Because Jacob has something that practically gives him stuff in regards to resources. There's the Appendix 1 equipment. It starts on page 308 and you can also use the blue book for it in that one. There is the equipment in Deviant, which is what I'm currently looking at.
Okay.
Anything that has availability equal to or less than your resources is stuff that you can find.
Okay.
So the first one's weapons and equipment for melee weapons, ranged weapons, there's grenades, there's armor. And then you have services. So for example, you could go to a university, find some grad students, and have them help with some research.
Okay.
For availability too. Kind of thing. Or you could hire a data recovery specialist if you had availability for it.
Okay.
But that's generally what that works. How resources works.
So with resources 2, I can get anything of like availability 1
or 2.
Or 2. Okay.
And then there is some stuff in the blue book that is not in here for equipment and things like that, like first aid kits, etc., etc.
Okay. I will look into this a little bit later on.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just
yeah,
a suggestion for like resources is good to have because it also just you could also use it to bribe your way into things without any of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then I have 10 experience points left. I think I will boost my stamina, and that is 4 points for an attribute, correct?
Correct.
Okay, 6 left.
Now, do remember, depletion is brief, right? Let me take a look at that real quick. Because I know it is affected by persistent scars. Or is it controlled? Deterioration, depletion. Okay. Okay, no, that's only for slow charging that is affected by. Okay.
I think I was
taking. I was just taking a look at it to make sure that would not hurt you too much.
Fair. I am going to go and put another dot in larceny.
Okay.
For 2 points.
That leaves you with 4.
Leaves me with 4. Then I'm going to put a merit in sleight of hand as well. That's 2 dots, correct?
I believe sleight of hand is 2 dots for the merit.
So that's an additional 2 points of experience. Left. And I also have it as a specialization. Is that still?
Yeah. So the way that this is going to work is the sleight of hand merit allows you to do it as any larceny based thing, larceny based physical action as a reflexive action. So generally speaking, if we were using D&D terms, you would be able to use your reaction to pickpocket somebody.
Right. Okay.
The specialization increases your dice pool. So you'll get a +1 to that die.
Yes, okay. Let's see. I think I will also add a specialization with my remaining 2 experience points in computer hacking. Oh.
That would leave you with 1 experience point. Specializations cost 1 each.
Oh, merits and specialization. Sorry, my bad. Computer. Oh. Computer. Hacksaws. That's how you spell it, right? HAXX0RZ? Hacksaws?
So.
Okay, good. And then the last point of experience.
You can hold on to it. You don't have to spend it.
True, that's true. Maybe let's see.
Resources. Get resources 3.
Yeah, I can go for resources 3. That's going to be useful. Yeah, I think so. With that, I have quite some stuff. Shattered is the Chronicle. Now, age. My previous character, Thomas, was 31. And as such...
He was the group dad.
He was a group dad. I am thinking I do not want to be the group dad anymore. And as such, I'm going to be a very bad dad because Thomas is leaving. Oh dear.
I mean, to be fair, the children are a bit ungrateful, so it's fine.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I'm thinking somewhere around 20 to 25. For now. But do the dad jokes stay?
If you want them to stay, you can.
I don't know. I won't be able to help myself for the dad jokes. But I'm not sure if it would be in character of me to do that.
I mean, to be fair, at this point now, Jacob is the eldest, so Jacob has to do the dad jokes.
Fair. Now, loyalty. Would a loyalty touchstone also be able to be like a organization?
Touchstones have to be loyalty. The issue with using things like an organization or ideals for touchstones is, for lack of a better term, I and you guys can't really threaten them.
Right, okay.
For conviction touchstones, they can be places, but it has to be something that you can destroy, that you as a player can destroy.
Okay.
For loyalty touchstones, it has to be something I can threaten. Because it's to motivate you to do certain things, like with Jacob, or not with Michael. Michael is a perfect example in that.
Yeah.
Even though Ruby has the true friend on Fimble, there are many other things that I can do to Fimble without killing them.
Oh,
I don't like to think about it, and I'm not going to do it. But
no, don't be mean to Fimble. He's a cute boy. He's a good boy.
The difficulty is getting Ruby and Fimble separated enough to do that.
Fair. I'm sure you'll be kind to Fimble.
No, I think it's pretty unanimous that, to quote Michael Jordan, "Fuck them kids," but I can't hurt animals.
No, don't do that. That's mean. Oh well. So, I'm thinking, for a loyalty touchstone, either like, their old activist group, or one of the people in that group.
Probably one of the people.
Yeah.
Could be the leader of that group or somebody that this character felt close to.
Yeah. I'm thinking then, not the leader of the group, but like second in command, who after gaining powers and really going off the deep end, was the person that kept talking to them.
Yeah, sure. That is perfect. That is a lovely loyalty touchstone.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me open. Oh, grab my notes. All right. Did we want to give this person a name, or did you want to give the character a name?
I do definitely. Let me put up something that might not be might be DMCA friendlier. As for a name, so I'm currently thinking this character is I think a non-binary character, somewhat feminine presenting.
Okay.
And as for the loyalty touchstone, would probably be also either a feminine or non-conforming character. Someone I would probably know only as Hope.
Okay.
Because we don't deal with like last names and stuff, and probably this is more of a screen name than actual birth name.
Makes sense.
For the touchstone. Then for my own character, I will remove Netherlad to Electric Boogaloo. Although, even though it pains my heart. We also switch out.
Oh, if you do it in the name on the what's it called on the sheet, it'll edit it in the.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Let's see. I kind of wonder where my character would have originally come from. I'm thinking either someone local or who's moved to this area a long time ago.
There's a lot of intermoving and people throughout the Pacific Northwest, which kind of includes the Panhandle of Idaho. Well, it kind of includes most of Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. Portland, Salem, if you want a lower town. For those, the Seattle area, it's just so fucking much over there. There's like Edmonds and Bellingham and Bellevue and all of that's just Seattle. There is the Olympic Peninsula, which is where Nirvana, the band, is from.
Okay.
And you have the general area that I'm at. There's pretty much not much in between here and Seattle.
Like what kind of native population is there?
There's a lot of native tribes that are in the area. We have I believe the Snohomish, the Snoqualmie, the Coeur d'Alene. I believe Spokane itself actually has one. One of the mods for the Unexpectables, which is a fantastic D&D actual play that I am a huge fan of, is actually native and lives outside Portland.
Okay. It is an interesting idea, but I would need to do a lot of research to do that any justice.
Salish is another one that comes up. Coastal Shade Salish.
Okay. I'm thinking I would have grown up in or around Spokane.
Okay.
As far as like ethnicity, probably from all over. If you do a genetic test or something, it's just yeah, you're from everywhere. From here.
Okay. I know that there is a couple of reservations that are nearby if that is something that you'd want to look into. I'm not going to force you to or anything.
I would be interested in checking that out, but I don't know if I would be able to do it justice, so I'm not going to
Understandable. Ghost and I had a very similar conversation regarding voices and things like that.
fair. Which is also why I for Thomas I specifically said, like, yeah, I'm Dutch. I flew there.
It worked out well.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I spoke as much Dutch with a Dutch accent as I would have done were Thomas real.
Accents and things are weird anyway.
True. As for a name, let's say Pacific Northwest. Just try and see what the most common names are in Oregon.
Baby names.
Yeah. I will. I think
Oh, yeah. Kingsy's like
Kamesy.
Dutch accent, and then I was reading Ghost's thing.
Oh dear. Jacob is Southern and has never been to the South and is a local. Fair enough. But yeah, Kamesy, if you want to do that, I'm not sure how long we'll be going on for right now.
I've got time, so it looks like Robo Pirate just passed the heck out, just left everything on. So
fair. Like we've been going at it for a while now.
yeah. Whenever you're willing to call it.
Oh dear. Well then, so it must happen. It must happen. Give you the Netherlands sounds. Okay. Anyway, I'm thinking for a name, something. I think my character would go with a screen name.
Okay.
And as such would not reveal their original like birth name to anyone, especially not now. So as for name, yes, Gamesy, laugh it up. You are enjoying this a lot, aren't you? As for name, I know that Erika Ishii in her appearance in Dimension 20 with the Misfits and Magic, her character name is just XX_Broken Dream_XX. And it's just wonderful. She goes by Dream. And I think my character, given the background in eco-activism and probably anti-fascism as well, will go curious. Something like, I'm thinking of something like Red Fist, but that might be a bit too strong. curious. I do not know yet.
That's fine. Take your time. One of the antagonists may or may not have psycho-onomastic, so I'm sending you a question.
Yes.
You do not have to say it on stream, given that we do have someone here.
Okay.
But you do not have to answer it now.
Yes, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I will consider that. But I will definitely check that out later on.
Okay.
Oh, I was still in this thing. Anyway, maybe because of the activist circle that they found themselves in, everyone had like inspirational names. So there was Hope, there was probably Grace, and let's see.
I'm gonna just throw out a random one. I'm pretty certain someone in that group called themselves Gaia.
Oh, yes, obviously. That was probably the leader of the group.
Okay.
And my character would... I enjoy the irony of calling this character Charisma.
Okay.
Because they have none.
Pretty much.
Yes, I will call them Charisma. They will go by they, them, she, her pronouns.
Okay.
And she's just this little dancing rave party. Walking rave party. Yes.
Alright.
Dressed very like alternatively, probably lots of buckles and kind of like tactical industrial wear.
Okay.
Probably uses like a hoodie most of the time currently because of their hair, which is generally speaking, I would say. And we are out of Talk Dutchy to me. Did you have fun, Kamesy? I did have fun. Generally speaking, their hair is like a roiling rainbow. But tends to go in like pastels when she's really at ease.
Okay. Cool. Good job.
Jamesy, you need more. And you're welcome.
Okay. So we have a loyalty and we have a conviction.
Yes.
Did you want them to have been currently be chased by a conspiracy? Or do you kind of want it to be a bit less organized?
I think I want it to be kind of less organized at the moment.
Okay.
Also, the experience points that I was given, I'm thinking that those were like earned during my time trying to hunt this vampire down.
Okay.
Would I have already succeeded? Or
No. If
okay,
they are
no.
still a conviction touchdown, no.
Okay, no. Okay, then I would say I'm close, or do you like I would have done some prep work at least.
In response to this, there's probably stuff so that way I could pull forward the vampire stuff that I have.
Mm-hmm.
The vampire either realized that everything didn't exactly go right. They effed up, so they mind wiped whoever that they could that was over there, and then fled. And this is where you've tracked them to.
Okay, fair enough. With that, I'm thinking that this vampire kind of weaseled their way into the activist group, and like was very slick, used all of the right buzzwords. But after a while, people noticed like this person isn't really into like our deal, and tried to talk to them about it. And I think that Charisma was going to do that, which is where things went sideways.
But did you want any other conviction touchstones? You don't have to pick them now because you are self-made. So
I'm trying to figure out like where that would come in.
if you are if you are for the state of the ecological output of Earth and stuff like that.
Oh, right, yes. That's definitely a thing.
My brain goes, the people that are kind of destroying it.
That could very well be a thing.
Like, not Jeff Bezos?
Biff Jays?
Beth Bezos?
Biff Jasos?
That's just one example. Or perhaps there's people who would ship out things to closer to where you grew up that's not necessarily in Spokane, but were located in Spokane for somebody that would have waste that they just aren't taking care of properly. The owner of a company that's doing that.
I'm thinking with that sort of thing, maybe like the leading project manager of this new industrial complex.
Absolutely. Other suggestions for conviction touchdowns could be rivals. Old rivals, rivals being used loosely here. People that she just didn't like or that ridiculed her. Something along those lines.
Yeah. Like with conviction touchstones, like you want to destroy them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because like maybe Gaia would be a conviction touchstone.
Absolutely. Okay.
So vampire dude, vampire dudette. Do you have any suggestions there?
For the vampire?
For the vampire.
I'm gonna roll a D100 real quick. Okay. Do you want a real name or do you want a screen name?
Let's go for screen name.
Okay. Okay, screen name.
I have things like justice, valor, joy, noble, true, verity.
I'm totally not opening Vampire to take a look at the different clans right now. Clans. Actually, I think I know what he's going to be in that particular case.
Okay. I hear he.
It's just he's just tends to be what my default is for better and worse.
No worries.
It's also the fact that I'm looking at a male picture or a male presenting picture.
That makes sense.
I mean, would you want them to be an effeminate figure? I could do that.
I don't know. I'm thinking I'm thinking charisma would be attracted to feminine presenting people.
Okay. The first one that came to my head, because there's a lot of fucking weebs up here, was Mori. That's a screen name.
Fair, okay. That is definitely possible. And as for the vampire.
Yeah, that would be the vampire. Give me just a moment.
If they're feminine presenting, it could be Moriko, which is a common suffix for feminine names.
Yeah. Okay, that's not what I want. It's giving me male names. This. There we go. How you have additions in hacking? How long would you say that you've been at this?
Maybe fell into it when I was around 16. And I think I would have been into it for like 5 years. I'm 21. That's
okay.
Going through that.
I will say that you, given computer hacking and things, especially since you know where they're at, you probably know that their common name that they go through would probably be Maria.
Okay.
Vampire.
Maria?
Correct.
Okay. Would I know a last name?
Maybe? I haven't figured out last names yet.
Can I make a roll for it to figure it out?
You know what? We're here, sure. Oh, heck, what would this be? I'm gonna get intelligence or wits. That's gonna be the same. Plus computer, because you're doing that on it. And then I will go ahead and give you your +1 for your hacking ability.
Okay. So then, because it is a specialization, I got a modifier 1. And that is 3 successes.
You've gotten quite a few different things that is on there. I will say the one that comes up most is Taylor.
Maria Taylor. Okay. Okay. And my other conviction would be Gaia. Would I know who they are, given that I think we were very close before the falling out.
Sure. And even if you weren't, it's a screen name. You could track things like IPs and get a general location or certain things to sign up, and it is very easy to get people's information if you're willing to spend a couple bucks.
In that case...
Not that I know this from experience or anything.
No. Of course not. I'm thinking that Gaia would have the name Frederic, but would go by Freddy, generally speaking, by parents and stuff like that. Gillespie. And Hope is probably Hope because I think Hope would be like a kid from previous hippies and would be called Luna Grayson.
All right.
And charisma.
If you don't want that known, we do have a member that's here, so you can go ahead and hold off on that for the moment.
That's fair. I don't like.
I don't trust this person.
I don't mind Red Ghost knowing it. I know that Jacob wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I just go Red Ghost with a lot of information.
Charisma.
It was actually something that happened. It was, oh wait, no, you can't be there anyway. So do you think that 2 rounds is okay for time before Thomas is able to get to Sam?
Fair enough, fair enough. No worries, Red Ghost. I trust you too. Let's see. I think her first name would be Virginia. And it would be like this last name that would be very, very mundane. And they would want to get away from that as far as possible.
Understand.
I'm watching Dimension 20 right now with Misfits and Magic, and one of the characters there, who is this really, like, sad character, his last name is Kelmp. 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 And people have this running gag that it's just, like, this last name that gets stuck in your throat.
Kind of feels it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of something like Clog. Or Clegg. Virginia Clegg. Just absolutely hates it.
Understandable.
Let me add that to Flaw. Has the name Virginia Clegg. And I'll come back to you on the question you've asked regarding this.
Absolutely. Whenever you have time, because it might be a while before those antagonists are.
Believes they can do anything. That is one of her flaws. Is there anything that like you need to know about this character?
Did you want to have any more loyalty or conviction touchdowns? Because you do have a total of 5 touchdown slots.
I have 5 slots. Okay. So
and because you're self-made, you don't need to put them all in right now.
Okay. I have Hope, I have Gaia as Conviction, and I have Maria Taylor. And Maria goes by Mori.
Maria went by Mori.
Maria went by Mori.
Still do. Still don't know if they do or not.
Okay, okay.
Vampires are tricky like that.
Tricksy. Fair. Makes sense.
You guys are so fucking prepared to fucking fuck up some vampires. It's not even funny. You got someone that can throw around fire, somebody that can punch electricity in a fucking sun light bulb.
Yay! I'm just a ball of sunshine. Like, I can do parkour, I am incredibly good at athletics, I am invisible when I want to be.
Yeah.
It's just that nobody believes me or trusts me to do anything. I'm also very excited to know how this character gets introduced. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. If you don't have any ideas for conviction or loyalty touchdowns at the moment, we can go to that.
We have Mori, Maria Taylor, and we have Gaia. And that I've already forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Gillespie.
Yeah.
There we go. And then for loyalties, we have Hope, Luna, Grayson.
So, when Alvarance a few years ago was going through a phase where he wanted to stop writing high fantasy and wanted to start writing more modern fantasy, he made a thing about superhero people that just ended up being really good deviant fuel.
Excellent.
So, I've edited some of the things that are based off of that, but I was going to give the information to Sam because Sam's been using drop things, and it's stuff that that these people would be specifically looking for.
Okay.
Because they're also renegades.
Ah.
So what they would say is generally, here's an address, here's a time, bring your friends. That's it. Typed out or done in the whole serial killer glued different parts of magazines onto a page thing.
That's
so you can identify
that's something.
things on regards to it.
Okay.
Now these people kind of have a hidden little aspect of it. You have, and the way that I was thinking is you would definitely know this because this is kind of like people who are doing different things. Their focus is different than your focus, which is why they're trying to help you focus or like get to this other group that might be able to help you with that. But you have Jules and you have Vic. They are kind of the leaders of this group. There are other people in there. In fact, there's actually one or two regular people who are kind of sympathetic. You're probably, mechanically, these might be some of their loyalty touchstones. But Jules and Vic have their own type of organization, and they go out specifically to antagonize conspiracies.
Okay.
They try to break out other deviants from capture. They try to assault supply lines. They try to do all these different things. They are definitely more action-based related things.
Right.
But they do have a headquarters that is secret from most people, kind of like invite only.
Okay.
And since you're there doing the different things, you and Vic are probably closer than you and Jules, because Vic is their intelligence tech guy.
Okay.
He's they're the person in the chair, so to speak.
Okay.
So they don't go out, but they have like the communications, and they're like, this is what you need to do, this is where you need to run.
Jules as Jules or Jules as in...
Jules.
J, sorry. Did I say G? My bad.
You did.
Juliet, Uniform, Lima, Echo, Sierra.
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of group do they run?
They call themselves Masks.
Masks. Okay. So they would be contacts that I'm running with?
They might have asked you for help in regards to some of your skills recently, especially since you're more into robotics. Robotics and hacking. But they are less interested in attacking specific targets and more attacking the web of pain as a whole.
Okay.
But yeah. My brain. It's just Jules is considered the leader. Jules is kind of a superhuman physical type of person.
Okay.
So they're the ones that are out there in danger trying to do a lot of the different things.
Right.
Vic is the guy that sits there and is the one that organizes
the man in the van.
A lot of the other. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
They are good resources and not so great enemies.
I see.
But yeah, so generally speaking, I was going to give that information to Sam. Then they would take whoever I say take your friends, because the way that I was originally going to put it was take the people that you would trust, which means that Jacob would have been left behind.
Ooh.
Jacob might still be left behind. I don't know. I have things for Jacob just in case he is.
That's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Had to do a posture check for a bit. Indeed. Let's see.
Yes. So they would bring it up there, and it's like, here's a person that can help you with some of the things that you need, given the fact that we've seen you here and there, because God, I built a skill monkey.
Hydrate was redeemed, and my glass is empty, so I'm going to refill that.
I don't know where my glass went.
Be right back.
Oh, that's gone. I should go fill mine too.
Sure. And I'm back.
Putting on my headphones.
Okay.
Alright, there we go.
Welcome back.
I got caught on my keyboard cord.
Ah.
Alright. But generally, that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
If you had any other suggestions, I'm definitely open to them, but that's what I was planning.
Fair enough. I'm thinking, like, if the group is like touching base with the masks, how would it work? Would it be like a meeting type of thing, or would that be a joint op?
More of a meeting type of thing. If there's something that, like, it's just generally, it's kind of a twofold related thing. It's kind of like, here's the new character, and also here's a resource for you guys to use.
Okay.
So, like, if you guys wanted to do a joint op, or if you guys wanted to use Vic's thing, which, you know, you have a lot of the skills that I built Vic to have anyway, just in case, but Vic can always help you with stuff like that as well.
Fair.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that could work. I'm imagining if Charisma would feel threatened, they would go invisible and then hang out on the ceiling. Or, like, depending where it is, just stay somewhere in the shadows.
It'd probably be somewhere underground, maybe a little bit literally, maybe kind of figuratively.
Fair enough.
Definitely secret, probably downtown, where it's easier to hide such things.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also kind of, like, I was editing it because beforehand it was kind of like a small group, and now I'm just kind of making it more of a big thing for different renegades. It's kind of like a meeting point, a renegade hub, so to speak.
Nice. Okay. Is there anything from your end, like we're forgetting something, or we haven't touched on anything just yet?
You don't necessarily have a conspiracy after you yet. That is definitely going to change shortly, given that there's definitely conspiracies that are looking to soak up deviants. Right, Jacob?
Hmm.
And then there's, yeah, no, I think that's about it that I can think of. We went through the entirety of character creation. I don't know why I have Demon open. Apparently I have Demon open for some reason. We have the cohorts shaped. That was the things in there. Conspiracy, conviction, and loyalty. If you think of other ones, just let me know. Nothing's faltering. Switching sides. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
You spent all your experience, so there's nothing for me to put there. All right.
I'm quite happy with the way we've basically all of the variations that I wanted. I managed to get in there, and I think the scars. I'm curious how Lying Eyes works with the fact that I am working along with people.
That might be part of the reason where they're like, yeah, how about you go work with these guys instead?
Ah, I see. I'm being pawned off. That's it.
It's also the fact that you said that you've been at this for a few years at this point. And so these are people that you probably have known at least for minimum a few months, maybe longer.
Yeah, I think my change would have happened somewhere at around 19 or 20.
Okay.
And now that I'm at 21, yeah, I think some of the bridges that I had were burnt, especially with my previous activism. The only one that I have left is hope, basically.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so it's just, it took you, obviously you guys have been out for about a week and a half, and then they're just kind of like, okay, we're going to put out the invitation to Sam. Your invitation definitely took a whole hell of a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like, rather than, oh, we just came across you, it was probably, you've been sitting there talking with Vic for some time.
Yeah. And maybe I've helped with, like, because they would probably know of my skills, but they just don't know if they could trust me with stuff. That I've done, like, some odd jobs around to show, like, hey, don't judge my words or my appearance, judge my actions.
Right.
Which is how I got into there.
Exactly. You've been sitting there, it's like, here's a bunch of information that you guys could probably use in regards to hacking, which definitely warmed you up for it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. With that said, I think we have a good setup.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited for characters in this game.
Thank you so much for hanging out.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me with charisma.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to end the stream there as well. We've been going at it for more than 3 hours. That is not my usual stream length. That's about 1.5 times. Hey, Wizard! Thank you so much for jumping in. You're welcome. I've had a lovely time with Alvarance, my storyteller for Identity Shattered. And you've been lurking a bit. Ah, that's sweet. Thank you. And for everyone else, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, Red Ghost and Gamesy and CrazyA99 and previously Stumkunst for hanging out. I have been the Netherlad, I am the Netherlad, and I will be the Netherlad for quite a while. Next stream will be this Saturday, probably. I'm thinking of doing some Mario Golf, and I will probably use the next 2 days to have a bit of actually like vacation, because I have a week off and I've been streaming a lot.
Yeah, take a break, recharge your batteries, do what you gotta do.
Yeah. So again, thank you all so much for everyone hanging out. As Crazy99 says, thanks both of us. Thank you, and the people in chat. You've been great. Next stream will be this Saturday. Bye.
Bye-bye.